In this video, I'll help you solve the ALEKS problem called predicting whether simple electrochemical reactions happen. To help you solve this problem, you are probably going to want to have access to a table of common polyatomic ions. I'm recommending the table from the website socratic.org. You're also going to want to have access to ALEKS's metal activity series. You can access that by clicking on the data tab in ALEKS. So for this problem, you're given two situations. You're asked to predict whether or not a reaction takes place. And to do that, we'll be using the activity series in ALEKS. So in each one of these situations, you're going to have some sort of atom, metal atom in the solid form. So for my first situation, it tells me that I have this solid iron metal. I'm just going to write the symbol for iron Fe. And you're also going to have a metal ion. And for mine, I have this copper ion. I'm not going to write the formula or the charge for that copper ion yet. To predict whether or not a reaction occurs, we're going to compare the position of the iron and the copper on the metal activity series. So we have to go find their positions on this activity series. Let's see, I have iron and I have copper, which is down here. Now, in general, as a rule, if the atom is above the ion on the activity series, then yes, these are going to react. And so that's just kind of a shortcut to help you remember. If the atom, which is the metal all by itself, described as solid metal, solid iron metal, if that atom is higher than the cation, and the cation is going to be the metal that's part of an ionic compound. If the metal atom is higher than the cation, then yes, a reaction is going to occur. And since a reaction is going to occur, we're going to need to write the equation. Before we do that, let's practice this process with our second example. So for this one, it says we have solid copper metal. So copper in this case is our atom, and it is put into an iron ion solution. Maybe I'll make a note that this was the ion. So for this situation, we have copper, the atom, and iron, the ion, same elements. Copper is below copper is below iron, and so that means that they are not going to react. So again, if the element that's in the atomic state is higher on the activities than the element that's in the ionic state, then yes, a reaction is going to occur. If the element that is in the ionic state is above the element that is in the atomic state, then no, a reaction is not going to occur. If you decide that a chemical reaction is occurring, which we have here, that chemical reaction is going to take place between the solid metal. We're going to write that, and don't forget to include the state. It's a solid. And it is going to be reacting not with this whole entire ionic compound, but just the metal ion. So I know that my metal is copper, and I need to know the charge on that copper ion in order to get this ALEKS problem correct. This is where the table of polyatomic ions comes in handy. I've got these nice parentheses around the NO3 helping to identify that as a polyatomic ion. There's my polyatomic ion, NO3. It has a -1 charge, and I can see from this formula that there are two of those NO3 minus ions, which means altogether I've got a total of -2 from both of those anions. In order for this to be charge balanced, my copper is a +2 ion. Now that, it says, is part of a solution, which means that it is aqueous. When these react, they are basically just switching from atom to ion and vice versa. So that means that the iron is going to become the ion. It's going to switch from atom to ion. And my ion is going to become solid atom. Kind of a tricky problem. This is probably the trickiest part, but what I like about this is that they are in alphabetical order. That helps me remember the atom has to be on top of the ion in the activity series for a reaction to occur.